Hello, Governor.
Face isn't trying to get me to laugh right out the gate.
I wasn't actually. What I did was I didn't change my face at all. Is that what you were laughing at?
Yes.
Okay.
The slow pan down with your hand to the same exact face. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Two Dads Talking.
Yes. Hello.
We've got a nice long list of topics that we wanted to cover tonight, and we're going to try to stay on track and just read right through them and try not to get sidetracked and rabbit holed as badly as we usually do.
Oh no, it's gonna get bad if once we hit that surname thing. I could go off the rails.
We're going to go off the rails way before then. I'm not worried about that.
Okay. Well, before we go off the rails, I have a dad update. It is bragging. It is me talking about how great I am. I had a tried and true dad save 2 days ago.
Nice.
So you've all seen the internet videos of kids like a millimeter away from like smashing their face in on a brick wall and dad catches them right at the last second.
Yep. Bad catch to prevent death.
Yes, I had one of those. It wasn't preventing death, but it definitely kept my son's face a little less flat.
Okay.
He was bouncing on a mattress on the floor, and he just did one of those things where he like sit jumps, and he just happened to spring perfectly up in the air, and he started rotating. He's perfectly horizontal in the air. I happened to be literally sitting on the ground right next to him. I'd already told him 3 times, stop, you're going to hurt yourself. And just one hand, I palmed him like on his chest and just caught him. And he realized a second later what actually had happened. He started crying as he was freaking out. So
nice.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Thank you. It was great. Unfortunately, my wife did not witness. She was in the other room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My wife didn't witness my one great dad save either. She wasn't there for it. It made me kind of sad in the same way. Like, oh,
yeah. No, I wish we had a camera in that room.
I swear.
I was going to say, look, I did it. Well, and then today I was tossing a umbrella because we were in the sun for a kiddo soccer game, and I was getting the umbrella back from the one kid, and I was just messing around with it, and I tried to toss it, and I missed catching it, and it like went back over the back of my head, and I just reached my hands back blind and caught it.
Ooh.
And I turned around, looked at my wife who was walking behind me, and I was like, "Did you see that?" She goes, "See what?" I'm like, it's the most athletic thing I've done in 2 years. You missed it.
We were there when we needed to pay attention.
All of you have to know now. I need validation, damn it.
External validation is the only one that counts, right?
Yes, sure. So there you go.
A couple of updates to start us off here.
Yes, we do.
Let's
do
start
you have any specific or the police chief? Okay.
The police chief, and then from last week I've got one.
Ooh,
so you might remember a while back we talked about a police chief who made the DraftKings naughty list. He gambled away their criminal narcotics fund essentially on DraftKings and on FanDuel.
It's a witch hunt. He only owes $80,000. It's fine.
It's like $85,000. That's all it is. It's a good thing he won a couple of those bets, huh? I guess he had wagered. The total count was something like $4 million that he had wagered, but it was using that crooked math that they use. And anyway,
didn't our stupid math figure out that he probably was averaging like 4 deposits a day?
Yes, like 4.
And they averaged like 5,000 or something.
Yeah. It was like $1,250 a day. 3 to 4 times a day for like a year and a half. It was something insane.
That seems a little much. Yes.
Yeah.
Anyway,
so again, thank goodness he won some of those bets, I guess. But he actually was denied his retirement fund, his pension fund, his pension disability fund. He was denied, and he was promptly purged. My microphone just out on me.
Oh, it's doing it again. Which, by the way, I wish we had a little button that we could push that was someone like going like just like a sound effect. Maybe from like dodgeball, when they lose when the Girl Scout troop loses by disqualification. She's like, God damn it, Bernice.
The beaver tranquilizer girls in tears.
Like we just need something like that.
I sat down last week to make a soundboard for us and tried to make one. And I got all caught up and distracted, but I really do want to make a soundboard for it. I think that would be hilarious. The problem is I'd have too much fun with it.
I was going to say that might make this an even worse quality production than it already is.
It probably would in some ways, but it would be entertaining. Anyway, he was promptly charged as soon as they denied his pension. He was charged with grand larceny and a couple of other smaller charges, and he was in court today and pled not guilty just this morning.
Yeah, dude just can't catch a break. I mean, he really didn't lose that much compared to the total bets, and I think they're just really weighing down on him for some reason.
Yeah, I don't understand it. It wasn't
Don't
even
know why they're not giving a police chief a little bit more leeway.
it wasn't even half of his salary, right? I mean,
Right,
85,000, we
exactly.
determine he makes like 280, I think. So it's not even half of his salary.
No, it was like 180 or something, or 160. It
Was it?
shocked you at how low it was. You thought it should have been
Yeah,
more because
you're
it's,
right. I
where
was
Yale is
surprised.
and stuff. Yeah,
All right, so anyway, maybe it
whatever.
is more than this. Maybe it is more than that. But yeah, he's pleading not guilty is his plea today, and I can't wait to see where that shakes out. That'll be fun.
That will be fun. This could take a while.
It probably will.
Okay. Done.
Uh,
Next update.
Next update. Last week, Doug and I had a pretty vociferous argument about Disney and whether or not they had the right to be suing someone for what they said about the lyrics of a Lion King song.
Mhm.
And it wasn't until I put the links together for the show notes and posted the episode and did the description and, did all the work for this episode is what I'm trying to say here.
Yep. Oh, it's
It
fine.
wasn't
I
it
did
wasn't until I
all
did
the hard
all the
work for the
work.
first I did the hard work for the first 20, and you've done it for the last, like, 40 to
60.
50, 60. It's okay.
It is okay. You've had a lot going on, and we'll find a way to balance this out at some point. But my point is, when I went to go through the links, I started with the YouTube link where I saw this guy do this commentary, and then I realized that you were referencing a stand-up show on stage where he made these comments.
Yes.
And see, I was not. I was referencing the interview he did on someone's YouTube channel on their podcast. And so you kept saying this guy's making a joke. It's not a big deal. And I kept saying, no, he wasn't joking. He stated it like matter of factly. It was misinformation. We were talking about two different incidents by the same
Oh,
guy
I'm
and
so
didn't
glad
even
you realized
realize.
you were wrong.
And we argued about it for like 40 minutes and didn't realize we were arguing about different things. So I put that link in the show notes for last week's episode. It's up there. You can see the actual article. Oh, also, it's not Disney suing him. It's the
It's
composer
the
and
guy
creator
who
of the
it's the
song.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's the composer of the song. Yeah, no, that was also part of it for me too, is like well, I suppose my position would be relatively the same if it was Disney because, like, come on, you're Disney, cry me a river. But also this guy, same kind of thing. Like, this guy, because it's in Disney, he either made oodles of money or he didn't make that much because Disney now has it. Kind of like the guy that came up with our current tax system. He was paid like $60,000, which was great back in like the 80s when he came up with it. But,
Sure.
he should be getting annual returns, pun intended, for that idea.
Yeah. So anyway, that's the update on that one. We spent a lot of time arguing about two different things, not even realizing we were talking about very different discussions, and that it wasn't Disney filing the lawsuit. Disney, in fact, has nothing to do with this. They're sitting back and watching, and I'm sure they'll jump in when it suits them. But
This is probably
that's
good
all.
for them.
Yeah, probably is.
Like, and this is PR.
It's press.
Two other people fighting about a Disney song.
Yep.
What could be better? You
What
don't
could be
get to be the
better,
bad
right?
guy or the good guy. Yeah.
So those are the updates. I intentionally did not do a Hey John update this week. I very intentionally didn't Google, didn't look her up, didn't do anything. I'm leaving that one alone this week. And I think we're good on the updates there, unless Doug's got something.
No, I don't. See, I have this weird, as you guys know, I'm very, very good at out explaining myself on things. And I just feel like if somehow my wife ever came across me looking at Bonnie Blue on my phone and she's just like, "What you doing?" And I'd be like, "Oh, I'm researching it for the podcast." Oh, yeah, okay, dummy. What are you doing? No, I promise.
Did you ever see the TV show White Collar?
Yes.
I liked that show a
That
great deal.
was that was a very good show. Yes, I did not watch the whole thing through, but I think I got through, like, the first 2.5 seasons.
It's only
Real
3
great
seasons.
concept.
I think it's only
Oh, is
3
it?
seasons.
I think
Maybe
I
it was
got
4, but
I know I did not finish it.
it
Whatever it
was a
was, I
good
know I
show.
didn't finish it, but
Yep.
it was great concept. Love it.
Yep. I watched it all the way through. There's one scene in there in one
Hold
episode.
on. For
Yep.
those who don't know, former white collar criminal played by Matt Bomer, is that his name?
I don't know his actual
Is that
name.
his last name?
Yeah, I
Well,
don't
he was in
Shades of Grey, maybe?
The male stripper movie.
Magic Mike?
Thank you. Of
Okay,
course
you're
you would
welcome.
know that.
Yeah.
He was in that movie. He's been in a bunch of others. Oh, he was the super spy who dies early on in Chuck, the TV series. He's the
Yep.
one that gives Chuck the glasses. That guy.
Yep.
And then he basically gets captured by the FBI and he's given an FBI handler. And the deal is that he gets out of jail time if he helps them solve other crimes. And it
And when you
turns
say
into your
white collar criminal, like Doug says, like, he's
right.
not just like a finance fraud guy. He's a confidence man. He's like
Right.
a street level con man, epic, like Danny Ocean from Ocean's 11 kind of criminal is what he is.
Yeah, kind of thing. Like he goes undercover too with the team eventually, does stuff like mimic signatures and junk like that, the whole gambit. But good concept, kind of like a, offshoot of like Holmes and, kind of deal. But it was entertaining. It was very clever.
So there's an episode, I think it was season 2, because it was the one where the FBI agent, his name is Peter Burke, and it's the one where his wife is they use like a weird AI editing on her and she's never in the same room. And Bridget and I were like, maybe she had a baby and wasn't actually on set. And turns out that's exactly what happened. They didn't want to leave her out of the whole season. So they like used slimming AI digital technology to like make her look different and then CG'd her into scenes with them and then came up with this scheme where she was like in San Francisco, looking at art exhibits for like 6 months. That's why she wasn't in town, but they still have phone conversations regularly. And you
Right.
see this weird blurriness around her face where the CG is trying to make her look like she did in season 1. It's really bizarre. They could have found other ways to do that much cleaner. But there was an episode where they're trying to track down this guy who stole something and he owns like a high-level prostitution company, escort service. And Peter finally gets the password to like log into this thing. What was Burke? Neil Caffrey was the criminal who's working with him. Neil finally
Yes.
gets him like the login site and this password to get into this guy's account. So the guy logs into this escort service account, and it's right as his wife is dialing the phone with him, and he answers the phone, and she says, "Hey Pete, what's up?" And all of a sudden you hear, "Thank you for logging in to cinnamon.com. Our girls will provide ultimate sensual erotic pleasures." She's just hearing all this, and he can't turn the computer off, and he's
Of
trying.
course.
And she's like,
Yes.
I can't wait to hear you terribly over explain this. And that was the first thing that came, when you
Ah,
said it that
that
way.
makes sense.
But he's struggling to get it off. And yeah, it was a great show. Another random show drop. All right, so that's all we got for
We'll put it
updates.
to
Should we
that.
go to India?
Sure, let's go to India. Just like Bonnie Blue.
I don't think she's going back to India. So I found this article and sent it to Doug the other day. Border protection, immigration, all of this stuff has kind of, been a hot topic item here for at least 10 years now. It's been
And it's been more hot really recently.
recently it's gotten very hot, yes. India is trying something new or is considering trying something new for their border protection program. And I sent Doug this text thinking that, he might chuckle at it, not thinking he'd be as interested as I was. But it
So
turns out,
interested in this. This could
turns
be the
out
one
he's
that
very
derails us.
interested. So, according to The Diplomat, links in the show notes, India mulls deployment of crocodiles and snakes at border with Bangladesh. The plan was discussed as Indian and Bangladeshi diplomats are working to reset their bilateral relations. India's border management strategy could soon see an unconventional, even controversial and self-defeating turn. Officials are mulling over a plan to release venomous snakes and crocodiles into riverine stretches of the Indian border with Bangladesh to prevent infiltration and criminal activity. This comes as recently as March 26th and is from an internal communique from India's border security forces. They were exploring the feasibility of deploying reptiles such as snakes and crocodiles in vulnerable river gaps where fencing the border has been difficult. The use of reptiles is in line with Home Minister Amit Shah's directions. I want to know what his directions were. This is in line with his directions. How
This
vague
is
was that?
this is my wheelhouse. This is a technicality.
Yep.
Do whatever you need to do. And they were like, okay.
If you're wondering how much space we're talking about here, 175 kilometers of the border is considered unsuitable for fencing because it runs through rivers and swamps and marshes. That's what
Yes.
they're looking at doing. 175 kilometers of crocodiles and venomous snakes.
Well, but if it's an easy crossing, like it's, and especially if you know that there's not a lot of dangerous things in there, that's a real easy push,
Yeah.
and you can't just construct a fence on the other side. I mean, that's not good. I don't know why you wouldn't just bring it more inland on your end, I guess, unless I guess geography could actually be a real hindering factor with that. Like it could make it really goofy.
I don't
So
know. But my question to you is what would be the equivalent of crocodiles and venomous snakes if we were doing this on our southern border? Like, what do we
People
have
from
that we would use?
Alabama.
Well, clearly that's not
Rednecks.
working.
We have rednecks.
We've got plenty of rednecks down that way, and clearly that's not doing the job. So, I mean, like,
Raccoons on LSD.
chupacabras? I mean,
Yeah, right.
I'm thinking rattlesnakes, I'm thinking, yeah, no one cares about rattlesnakes. We
Dog
don't
the
have a
bounty hunter.
crocodile. We don't have something we can set to roam that border and,
I am the dog, the big bad dog.
nope, that reference is missing me.
It's South Park, Dog the Bounty Hunter, when Cartman becomes a bounty hunter.
Oh, I didn't see that one.
Mm, too
Mm.
bad.
My
No,
South Park game is weak.
we don't have anything like that. I mean, we have some poisonous stuff in like Arizona, I think, and everything like that, but we don't have. We just have like a bunch anywhere.
So, we should import camel spiders from Iraq.
Okay, I'm never going to visit Texas again.
Mission accomplished. No one's gonna go through. Problem solved.
It's like a spider DMZ.
I
See,
love this idea. I
I
mean, I
I
kinda
do
feel bad for the
too.
crocodiles and the venomous snakes because I'm sure it's probably if they're not already living there, then my guess is it's probably not suitable for their long-term inhabitants, you know?
Right.
So I feel
You
bad for
have to.
them, but
So, but are you? I assume there's some sort of budgeting to feed them, keep them there,
I would
draw
hope
them
so.
there. I mean, but you don't want to feed them too much
Right, you gotta keep them
because
hungry. You gotta
right,
walk
'cause
that line.
you gotta keep them aggressive.
Walk that
I
Captain
just,
Hook line where they're still willing to jump up and take someone's hand off at any point in time, right?
I know. Why can't they just put like bear traps? Like, yeah, so if you step on one while you're crossing the river, you like, why can't it be that? I don't.
There was a part of me that just said, "That's not very humane," and then I heard what I was going to say. Like, I'm okay with crocodiles, but not bear traps.
Right. Well, it's not. It's less it's less inhumane when a non-humane is doing it to you,
Yeah.
I suppose.
Yeah.
It's not the crocodile's fault. He's just hungry because we don't feed him. The This idea, the reason I love this idea so much is because my moral and ethical core is saying no, this is not a nice thing to do.
Right. Right.
But the rest of me is like, oh my god, please do it.
Do you know who
Like
else chimed in on this?
body blow.
Hillary Clinton chimed in on this.
Oh, of course she did, because she's known for ethics in her
Right.
legal history.
The Clinton family's not suspected of anything
Well,
unethical.
and also when she was a young attorney, her own boss was like, "Yeah, you need to sit this one out because you're fucking psycho," like on multiple cases.
So her quote, while she was sitting at a conference with her Pakistani counterpart, she said, "You can't keep snakes in your backyard and expect them only to bite your neighbors. Eventually, those snakes are going to turn on whoever has them in the backyard." It's actually a pretty fair point. But
Uh,
if you're not going to that border anyway, the whole point is you don't want to be there patrolling it,
right,
then who cares, right?
right, right. I it, and this is why I actually am on at a on the fence with this issue is because each country does have a right to sovereignty, and people who are illegally crossing, I mean, that automatically makes them some version of a criminal. And I mean, you can argue about the semantics, but like just the plain on its face is that normally you would expect some sort of punishment if caught for something like this. Like, I don't know. I don't know why we're so touchy feely about this here in America because if I feel like if I just walked my happy butt across any border anywhere without saying hello first, like
Yeah,
I would expect to be dragged away if someone found out. I can't even imagine waving an American flag in, like, pick any country.
Canada.
Poland, Russia, Venezuela, like, Nicaragua, like, I have rights. No, I fucking don't, like, I just, like, showed up here.
Yeah,
And then I'm waving my other country's flag and expecting to be treated nicely? We're one of, like, what, 3 countries that does this?
yeah, there
I don't
aren't
know, like,
many.
us, the United Kingdom, maybe Canada? Who else? Who else would treat illegal immigrants, like, nicely? Or I should say,
Historically, there aren't many that do.
not even nicely, just, like, not badly.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. El Salvador's a good example. I would expect to to be in prison for quite a while. Well, we figured that one out if I ever tried to do something like that.
I remember the soldier who defected in North Korea. He wasn't treated well.
No. No, and he was trying to join the other team. He was like,
Yeah.
"Hey guys, I'm on your side now." And they were like, "Nope."
Yep. Nope. Get your ass in jail until we starve you and deport you.
Right. So I don't know. That's why there's part of me that is on board with this because it is a deterrent. They are not releasing these things presumably to be like, yeah, I hope we kill somebody. They're releasing these things because they don't want anybody to go there.
Yeah. The point is you
And
wanna stop people from coming through, and to do that, you need to scare them. There has to be the threat of a consequence.
right. And so that's kind of my thing is like at some level, it's not cruel if someone goes where they're not supposed to go in
Yeah,
a
I
way.
think it might be cruel for the animals because again, this is an area that
Right.
they don't already inhabit. It's probably not suited for them. That's my concern there.
And if
Yeah.
it's a good enough deterrent, no one will go there and then they'll be more hungry.
Yeah. Yep.
So like I said, it's a real tough balance to strike.
Might cost you more money than just letting people in.
I don't know.
But it's the most amazing, most incredible border plan I've ever heard. It's gonna be spectacular. All the other countries, they're gonna be jealous. All of them.
Is
It's
this a
gonna be
segue,
amazing.
Tom?
No.
Okay.
We're
I
talking
thought
about a
we were gonna
serial
talk
killer
about
next and police framing
Trump
somebody.
and Iran and
I could talk about
there's a
that all
lot.
day too, and I
That
do
was
wanna talk about that, but that's not for
that
today.
was funny.
I'm gonna wait for him to post
That's
yet
fair.
another image where he says, "I wasn't supposed to be looking like Jesus,"
Oh
and
my
then post
god,
another
that's
one of him with Jesus 2 days later. That's what I'm waiting for.
I see, but I don't know why people keep falling for that. I saw a post. It was obviously the joke that it was meant to be, and it was like, "Be Donald Trump. Write a book telling everybody exactly how you negotiate.
Yep,
Call it the art of the deal, and then make every single deal and negotiation the same way for the next 30 years and have everyone still be shocked at how you do it."
right.
Like, and that's what he does. He's just a troll. He
He's
tells you,
such a
like,
troll.
he does exactly what he does. He's not different. He's
No,
the exact same person he was in 2016, but
yep,
people keep falling for it.
yeah. And after I can't remember who it is now, but the woman who resigned, she was like his biggest supporter for forever, and then she resigned,
Oh,
and he came out
yeah,
and
she
like
was the attorney general, right, or whatever her
yeah,
name. Yeah,
yeah. She just gave an interview recently where she talked about, how loyal she was to him, and then her kids were receiving death threats in school because he
Bondi.
yes. No, not
No,
Bondi,
was
no.
that no? That was no. That was oh my gosh, I can't think of her name right now.
Yeah, not Bondi. I can't think of it either. It's just too late on a Friday night for me, I
I'll
think.
figure it out. It's
But
I
she
don't
did
know
an
why I
interview
can't
where she
remember it.
shared, like, private text messages that said, "Look, he called me a traitor when I resigned, and my kids at school were receiving death threats, and I texted him and said, 'Could you maybe, change the language because my kids are getting death threats?'" And then he made her feel like it was her fault and made her feel guilty about it and, like, had no compassion for kids getting death threats. And and then the question that kinda came up in the article I was reading it in, there were some comments after, and someone asked a question that was like, "Why is anyone still loyal to him when all he does is use people as long as he wants, and then as soon as they're not 100% committed, he drives the bus over them and
Marjorie
backs it
Taylor
up and
Greene.
hits them again?" What's that?
Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Yes, thank you.
Marjorie Taylor Greene,
Yes.
MTG. Yeah.
Yep, that's the one.
Yeah, same
But
thing.
but the
Like
big
she
question was like, why is anybody loyal to him still? Because he's shown this over and over again. He's shown the playbook. It's not a secret. We've all seen it. As soon as you're not 100% committed to whatever he's telling you to do, he just burns you alive. It's unbelievable how savage he turns on people who supported him
it's
for so long. It blows my mind. There's no loyalty there. So why would you give him yours, you know?
well, okay, but see, here's my thing, and now I am not excusing this, and I agree with you. Like the evidence we have implies that he's just happy to drive the bus right over you.
Yep.
We are dealing with politicians here, though.
Yeah.
How do you know a politician's lying, Tom?
Their mouth is moving.
Yes, exactly. So, and Marjorie Taylor Greene, Republican. I mean, and I'm using really nice big scare quotes for that because I'm not sure what the hell she is, but she is certainly not a conservative in that sense that I would have thought of. So I mean, in one sense, I can perfectly believe the threats and the things like that, and him driving the bus over. But are we also going to sit there and say that she was the perfect lapdog, didn't step out of line once, didn't have her own little schemes or designs or whatever? I mean, I'm not saying it's good, but you don't even have to be a politician to just being in this line of work exposes your family to things like this. I mean, political commentators have issues like this all the time. So is it really a Trump problem? Slash, I'm really going to sit there and believe that she's 100% completely blameless, a total scapegoat here. Like, it's hard
But
to
to me,
imagine
it's
that there's nothing.
yeah, but it's not even about that. Because I mean, you're right. They're all doing this as much for their own agendas and their own aspirations and ambitions as they are anything else. Like that's a big part of why they do a lot of this. But at the
Yeah.
same time, she was one of his greatest supporters in Washington for a long time. And that was despite the fact that the people she's representative of are not generally the big Trump supporters. She doesn't represent the demographic that's voting for Donald Trump, that wants him to have a third term somehow. Like she's not representative of that voter. And yet she stood by him and she risked her career, in a lot of ways and risked her ambitions by backing him. You would think that at the end of the day, someone who goes that far for you and is that willing to stand by you and is your ride or die compatriot, you would think you'd have some loyalty for them in the back end. And when she resigned, she didn't light him on fire. She basically said, "All right, sorry, we have differences in opinion here. I can't do this anymore. I'm going to resign so someone else can do this role correctly."
Yeah.
She actually was very professional in her resignation. And then he called her a traitor and like went off. And that's not a word in politics, if you're the president, that you should use lightly, in my opinion.
Well, that's true. Traitor for a lot of us regular folk, and especially
Right.
military folk, are going to register with that word, which he probably knows he's not a dummy. Even as much as people want to think that he's dumb, he's not a dummy. I think my real problem with this is that I wonder if, because she was not normally the reasonable, like, I'm just gracefully stepping aside kind of person when she was there. She was part of the performance, part of the charade, the making a big deal out of everything, mountains out of molehills, and just talking about everything was the end of America from the Democrats and all that stuff. So, but I think the reason I don't like what he's done with her, if nothing else, it's to use the reference I gave you the other day on something completely different. I sort of expect what do they call it? It's the kayfabe, right? Like the WWE uses.
Okay.
Kayfabe is where we all, it's sort of like Emperor's New Clothes, but for entertainment.
Oh, I don't know.
Here, let me find it real quick. I think I had it open, so I was going to reference it. Yeah. So the primary term for the fake or scripted nature of WWE is kayfabe. While the outcome, storylines, and character personas are predetermined for entertainment, the stunts are real. It's the idea is that it's the illusion that it's real, but we all kind of know it's not. The wrestlers in the audience know it's not real, but we kind of play along with it because that's part of the fun.
Okay.
And that's sort of what this is to me. Like the kayfabe of the politics is, oh, I can't believe those Democrats. Oh, I can't believe those Republicans. Oh, I can't believe you, sir. How dare you violate the American people like this?
Yeah.
And she probably ran into a wall and was like, yeah, I'm done. I can't keep this up anymore. Like she's exhausted, tired, whatever. And so she just turns into a real person for a second. And if you're breaking that wall, the polite thing to do is to also be a real person and like, good luck to you. And you don't even have to say anything. But
Yeah.
so the fact that he, at the very least, kept up his appearance, I don't know. Like, there's probably that middle ground where he could have been not a jackass, even if he's just trying to quote save face with his own persona. There's probably a scenario where he could have been not a jackass and not given any ground for his continued whatever. That's kind of what bothers me here, is that there was definitely another option if he wanted to be decent.
Mm. Okay. Not a bad rabbit hole. We managed to get back relatively on track.
It's okay. I just equated the presidency to WWE. You're welcome.
I
Which is
mean,
good because he appeared on WWE, so
twice, I think. Yeah.
it makes sense.
Yeah. And honestly, that's kind of what this administration has been. The level of spectacle has been pretty similar to WWE. It's kind of wild.
Yeah.
There are so many times, there have been so many moments over the last couple of weeks, month, especially the last
Yeah.
like month or so, where I saw something and I was like, if you'd have told me 3 years ago or 2 years ago that I was gonna wake up and see this headline from the president or this social media tweet from the president, I would have been like, "Haha, yeah, right, that'll never happen." And I wouldn't have believed it. And now it's just become the norm. Like it's
That's because you
so
remember
wild.
Bob Dole, though.
Well, I mean, that's true. Yeah, that's true. All right, should we talk about a serial killer?
Sure, why not? Well,
Yeah.
oh yes, sorry. For a second, I was like, "No, we have to do the guy hammering mannequins," but then that's what you were talking
That's
about because
exactly what I'm talking about.
Deadpool Killer was next.
Oh, yeah, we'll talk about
Yeah,
that too.
right. So yeah, okay,
Alright,
yes, let's
so
talk about serial killer.
let's take a trip out to Las Vegas, one of my favorite cities in
This
America.
is old, by the way.
Yeah, the
This article's from
2017, right?
2017.
Yeah, yep.
How did I not know about this? Or maybe I did and I just forgot
Well,
because
the story we did about the Austrian father with the jail sentence with 100, the guy who killed his daughter got 120 hours public service, community service. That one was old too. That was like 2019. So we're catching up on old stories that we missed apparently.
yeah,
But this one's still a good one, and maybe I'll do an odd on this because this is a real interesting one. On January 3rd of 2017, the Las Vegas City Police Department found the body of a homeless man, 46-year-old homeless man named Daniel Aldape, in an empty parking lot at the southeast corner of Ogden and City Parkway. He was all wrapped up in a blanket that he was using to keep warm. It was pretty much what he had. They said that he was killed while he was sleeping, wrapped up in the blanket, bludgeoned to death with a blunt object. About a month later, they found the body of a 60-year-old homeless man at the opposite corner of the same exact intersection. Like the first one, he was wrapped up in a blanket, apparently was asleep, and he was struck multiple times in the head with a blunt object again. Autopsies of both men revealed they had fractured skulls with an object that the police decided was probably a hammer. So on February 22nd at 10:50 p.m., they placed a human mannequin which resembled a homeless person sleeping, wrapped up in a blanket at the southwest corner of that same intersection.
he
At
didn't rob them, by the way. This was definitely just violence.
Right. There was no
For the first
robbery, there
two.
was nothing to steal. He literally just
Right.
walked up on sleeping homeless men and bludgeoned their head in with a hammer. That was what this guy did. At 3 o'clock the next morning, so February 23rd, a man approached the area of the mannequin and stayed there for a long period of time, the police said. He surveyed the area, left, surveyed the area, left, surveyed the area a third time, and approached the mannequin, pulling a hood up over his head to conceal his face. Pulled a hammer out of his pocket and struck the mannequin on the head multiple times, several times, according to the report. Police immediately swooped in, grabbed the guy, took him to headquarters. He told them that he kicked the mannequin before he tried to tell them, I didn't hit it with a hammer. I just kicked it. I was just kicking the guy. The police said, no, no, we watched you hit it with a hammer. And he said, well, that's fine. But I knew it was a mannequin. I knew it wasn't a person. I knew it was fake. So you can't get me on anything because all I did was hit a mannequin with a hammer. So they arrested him for this. His name was Shane Schindler. He's 30 years old. He was booked February 24th. The decoy mannequin was bugged, like they had cameras everywhere. The whole thing was done. And apparently the way he did it was he literally held the hammer up over his head with two hands, brought it down, jumping down like you would chop a piece of wood. Uh, They said this was to generate maximum force and it was done with the intent to kill. The mannequin, I didn't see anything in here that shows how the mannequin was after the attack, if it survived. It feels kind of cold and callous that they didn't give us a victim update on the mannequin.
Feels like the mannequin wouldn't have survived.
Right. But it was a 4-pound hammer. So it was not a small
It was
hammer.
no, this is not a small hammer at all.
Yep.
It doesn't a 4-pound ball peen hammer, that's you're like, "Oh, okay, 4 pounds." Like, no. Have you ever thrown a shot put? Like half of that.
Oh,
This
yeah.
thing, like, has some weight to it. This is
I threw
not
a
a little
shot put in high
mallet or
school and
something
that
like
thing's
that. Yeah,
heavy. Yep.
this is a regular, like, kinda construction hammer weight.
Yep. So this happens and the man is, he goes to jail. And now the question is, did they entrap him? And there are people who are arguing that this is a entrapment and that the man should walk.
Of course it is. That's how you get people.
I just don't understand people. I don't. This is years later. We're talking almost 10 years later.
You're
And
hungry, you
people
wanna
are,
catch a bunny rabbit, you set a trap. "Oh, that's entrapment." Of course it is, dipshit, I'm trying to catch it.
that's how it works.
Yeah.
So I have to ask, what the fuck is wrong with society where we're like, you know, it's worse to trick a man into doing something he was already doing and to arrest him for it than it is to let a serial killer roam the wood, roam around the city and continue to bludgeon people.
Well, okay, well, hold on a minute here. Let's try to be fair
Yeah.
and give this a fair shake. Really drive it home, if you will. Minority Report, the movie. Has you seen it?
Yes.
Okay,
Tom
so
Cruise. Yeah,
yeah, same kind of concept. We don't actually have proof that he's the one. Like the argument goes, he bludgeoned a mannequin, but we don't actually have him bludgeoning the other two.
sure.
So if he maybe this guy wanted to feel what that serial killer felt. He knew about the two cases before because he's obviously nearby. And he was actually there multiple times to look for cameras because he realized how bad it would look if he did this. But he did see it was a mannequin because it's obviously not a real person. And he just wanted to get a thrill for it because he's a little bit weird anyway. But he hasn't actually done anything yet.
Yeah.
I realize this is not a very good argument. I'm just trying to help him out a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I get it. I don't know.
I mean, I can give you my real answer. Like I'm trying to be. I'm
No, I
trying to
love
help
that
him
you're
out.
trying to devil's advocate this thing, and you're right. The Minority Report is correct because if you don't have proof that he committed the first two, then what you have is him. Well, no, screw that. What you have is you have him committing attempted murder. Like
Well,
that's what this is.
here's what I say. At the very least, you have a mentally unstable person who did property damage
Yeah,
to the city's spy mannequin.
but
So
it's
he's
not just property damage. If he's trying to kill someone, whether it's a someone or not, it's attempted murder. If he thinks that's a
hmm,
person and he's
well,
trying to kill someone, it's attempted murder.
well, yes, I agree with you, but that's Minority Report. How can you know that's truly what he was thinking? The only real avenue to his inside his actual head is his own statements or thoughts, or you have to have character history. You have to prove that he has harmed people in the past, that he has a penchant for this.
Mm. I don't
You
think you
could
do.
argue that you could argue I'm strictly legally, you could argue he is a destructive person, but he's not destructive towards people if he says, "Oh no, I knew it was a mannequin." If he has a history of only property damage, you could argue he just loves breaking shit. You could argue that. Now, I disagree with you. Real world, lock his ass up, mentally unstable person,
Yeah,
you know, like a smart person who's all reflective, who's a contributing member of society would not do this. Someone who has a weird dark side that they've never been able to establish before, who's aware of the other two murders, would never do this because this is not the avenue to take it out on. You
yeah,
know, like a rational person would never do this. So real world, no, lock his ass up. Like at the very least, he should not be out on the streets anymore. But from a defense attorney side, you do have to show some potential like harm to other people in the past. Maybe he was abusive to an ex-girlfriend or ex-boyfriend. Maybe he was abusive to, you know, a dog or something like that when he was little. Like, I don't know. You got to have something to show that he harms living things if you want to disprove the words out of his mouth officially. I'm talking legally here again.
sure.
If I'm on
And
that jury, I'm locking his ass up.
yes, me too. And I will comment on here that there is video available of him actually smashing this mannequin to pieces. Like there's video readily available so you can watch it.
Does he look like he's really leaning into it?
Oh, he does.
Swinging for the fences?
Yep. And I will put both the news article for this and the video article for this in the show notes. I'll make sure that they're both there. So,
Two
uh,
dads talking. Let's talk about violent murder.
you know what? Let's do a little more serial killer talk, shall we?
Crocodiles eating people, violent homeless people, hammer murder, strangulation up next.
You know, all the cold case and the serial killers, true crime stuff. I love those episodes best on Time Suck. I've always had a
Some of
fascination
those
with
are
serial
really
killers.
good. Okay,
Yeah.
you know what? I'm Tom, I'm so close to being in some sort of rabbit hole conspiracy theory on this cold case stuff. Like, it would not surprise me if half of those like unsolved high profile cases don't involve somebody important.
Oh yeah. I'm sure
Police
they do.
officers, federal agencies, mayors, town council, stuff like that. Like that has got to be the only reason half of those suckers aren't solved.
Especially the ones that are all before smartphones were common. Like especially those that were easier to like
Ugh.
100%. I think a lot of that is probably the case.
Yeah, because like some of these things you read about, it's like, how can we not know this? This is so specific, small town, like most people knew them, like, it's amazing that some of these actually aren't solved with
Yeah.
how specific they can be. And I just kind of sit there and think it was protected at the time and now, you're getting further away from stuff. Again, This is why people should hope there's a god of some kind, presumably a benevolent god, who likes good people and doesn't reward bad people, I guess.
Yeah.
But this is why you should hope for this, because then the jackasses who are around today, who are making all the rest of our lives miserable, they get some later. Anyway, Deadpool killer.
What's up
This
with
guy's
Deadpool?
goofy.
Yeah, this is so nuts.
He's definitely a psychopath. I don't know how he
Oh, yeah.
even made it this far without getting in jail. He was 30, right? 31?
30, yeah.
I have to pull it.
31, yeah.
How did he even make it this far with the capability of doing this?
I'm gonna guess he
He
got
shoulda
away with a few of these, because with serial killers, they don't just start with this, they ramp up and they build their way up, and my guess
Right.
is he probably got away with 1 or 2 of these things before he got caught. But
We can dovetail this into dad stuff too, because this is daughters, this is like
Okay.
nightclub stuff. Like, yeah. Anyway, sorry. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You're good. So, we're gonna talk about Wade Wilson, not the comic book character that I'm such a big fan of, not Deadpool as the world has come to know the Ryan Reynolds iconic character on big screen and in comic books. This is a man named Wade Wilson, who's been called the Deadpool Killer because of the brutal way he murdered 2 women back in 2019, I think it was.
That's not why he's called the Deadpool killer. He's called the Deadpool killer because his name's Wade Wilson.
Right. Yes, that's why he's called Deadpool Killer. I agree.
Yeah, but you said because of the way he murdered 2 women. I was like, no, just because of his name.
Oh, no, I must have misspoken. I didn't mean that was why he was called Deadpool. I mean, that's the guy we're talking about, is the one who brutally murdered 2 women. Sorry.
Right.
So back in 2019, he met a woman named Christine Melton at a bar, took her home, and had a pleasurable evening with her. He's apparently a very handsome looking guy. Personally, I find it hard to tell with like all the tattoos he's got in his face. I think without them, yes, he would be a very attractive guy, but he has so many tattoos in his neck and face. It's kind of hard to tell what he looks like.
It's part
Doug
of
says
his
he looks
charm.
kind of like a Jake Gyllenhaal, and he's
He
probably
looks
right.
like a sort of like the slick back hair Jake Gyllenhaal from Zodiac or whatever it is.
Yeah, on one side, but when he turns his face the other way, he looks like one of those Dios dos Muertes dolls from like Coco. Like the whole left side of his face looks like that.
Could have just stopped at dolls. You didn't have to say Coco. Now the movie's ruined for me.
Sorry,
bitch. They're coming out with Coco too, and now I won't be able to
really?
watch it.
Oh,
I think
that's
so. I think they're talking about it.
I will watch that. But yeah, if you can get past the swastika under his right eye and like all the zombie marks and the stitches around his mouth and the if you can get past that on the right side of his face, like the Dios dos Muertes, just he looks like a friggin' Patron label, like a tequila label on the left side of his face. So I don't know. But apparently he's a very handsome guy, very fit, very attractive guy. So he takes Christine Melton home, and then the next morning strangles her and beats her to death in her own bed. And then later in the same day, he meets Diane Ruiz, who was 43 years old, and he beats her near to death and strangles her and then runs her over in his car, when he sees her on the street after she got out and wasn't quite dead yet. So real awesome guy, this Wade Wilson. He confessed to his father, I think it was. Both of these murders, he literally called his dad and just like confessed to his dad about these brutal murders that he committed. And then he was arrested in October of the same year. He's
good job, Dad. By the way, Dad was like, "Yeah, you guys need to go you need to go arrest my son." So
please,
not everybody would do that.
No. So he's been in court for the last couple of years. These things tend to drag out, as we know by now, and women are like flocking to this guy and how sexy and attractive he is, and romanticizing his looks. And they're doing a documentary. It's Paramount Plus. It's not Netflix. I see it now here. It's a Paramount Plus true crime documentary that I probably should go watch.
You should watch You first. We had this talk right before recording. Tom has not seen You, which it's not like everybody's seen You, but I figured a man of Tom's culture would have been aware of something like this, especially because he's into psychology, especially because he's into literature, loves stuff like Catcher in the Rye and all that. This is right up his alley. And you like Pretty Little Liars, don't you? Didn't you make a reference that you thought that show was neat one time?
I don't know that.
Or am I just mixing you up with my wife? Because you guys have some weird shit. Well, you're the uglier one.
I don't.
So,
yes,
but yeah,
I don't know that show.
Same
so I'm going to say you're
actresses.
thinking of your wife.
Okay, fine, fair.
Yeah, no, it's not a matter of my culture. It's a matter of me not having time. There's no time in my day to watch
That's
TV
not
that's
how
killing
this
me.
works. You watch 1 or 2 episodes of this, you will find time, or you will neglect your other duties
You know, I
to
started
watch this
watching
show.
Peaky Blinders, and I really enjoyed Peaky Blinders. I'm
I
like
have
3 episodes in.
deliberately I have not started watching that yet because I'm worried that it'll do that.
Yep.
That I'll just be like, "Oh, well, now I just have to watch and not sleep or
It's
whatever." Yeah.
fantastic. I'm
Is
like
it
3
really?
episodes in, maybe 4, and
Damn
I made
it.
time to watch them. Like, I was like, "Screw it, I can sacrifice sleep tonight." And I was infatuated with it. It started like 3 weeks ago, and I haven't watched an episode in like 2.5 weeks. I have not had time to
Okay.
find 1
Yeah,
episode.
that's not good. I better not get into that then.
There's just no time. So,
Yes.
anyway, back to Wade Wilson. So, Paramount Plus has a documentary about him, and it's drawing more attention to him, and his trial has been getting him lots of attention. And in February, a bunch of different websites all published articles because it turns out that women are flocking to this man, literally hundreds of women, writing him letters, pledging their loyalty to him,
Sending him money
sending
for, like,
him money.
defense. They're
Yes, that
sending him
is
$100,000.
that was the big one. They're they're so they're recording all of these calls, right? They're listening to everything, and they've got a pretty good record of what's going on here. They call these women Wade's wives, who are fawning over him. One woman demanded marathon sex from him, said she would visit him for marathon sex. Another wanted him to impregnate her. One of the jail guards goes into the interview and says, "It really makes us laugh, the things these women say to him and promise him in this. Like, it's really wild." The things that they're saying, there's a copy of the letter in this article, a letter written to him says, "I love you so much. I'm so committed to you, trusting in you, forever yours. Now let's get married already. 1 more week," it says. Like,
Yeah,
he
and then
thinks
2 more
he's gonna be
pictures
sick.
later, there's a woman showing off her tattoo that says Wade Wilson on her wrist. Like,
Yes. Yep. It's wild, and this is a known infatuation for serial killers. Like, Ted Bundy had a lot of these. Charles Manson had a lot of these women. In fact, I think he actually got someone pregnant during conjugal visits after he was, on death row. But they said that he's received $100,000 through a fundraising site created by one of these women supporters. These women are just, like, sending him money, and there's they the fund says that it's gonna pay his lawyers, but it turns out he's spending it on pizza and chocolate bars in prison.
I feel like that should be like, we don't even need a trial anymore, like, guilty.
Yeah, right?
Like
Like, done.
like, you get all this benevolence for, like, lawyer fees, and you're like, "No, you know what? Pizza sounds good." Like, that should be an automatic, like, sentence. Like, we don't need to waste time anymore.
Yep. Th
A rational person would use these funds for defense.
there's a woman who used her own personal money to send him suits, shirts, and ties to wear in court. She bought him makeup to try to cover the tattoos on his face to help him look friendlier. I mean, these women are just the draw to a man who brutally beat and murdered 2 women, and women are flocking to him by the hundreds. It blows my mind, and in my mind, it validates a lot of the stereotypes you hear about women, and this is where my wife's gonna be like, "Oh god, Tom's getting sexist again."
Oh,
But
no, we're both getting sexist.
yes. But I mean, she's right. I'm about to get sexist here, and she's absolutely right. But the stereotype I feel like gets validated every time an attractive serial killer gets put on the news. I feel like I see this every friggin' time. And even in the case of Charles Manson, who was not attractive, who was a goofy, creepy, scary ass cornball at every interview he ever did.
He was even scarier, though. He
Yeah.
made the women do.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep. He was an awful,
can't even
terrifying
believe it.
guy. But hundreds of women showed up to try to get conjugal visits with him and pledged themselves to him, and it was the same thing. But in this case, women love a bad boy. Women want to fix somebody. Women want a strong man. All of those things are kind of present in a serial killer who is locked up in jail and can't actually harm you. Like, you get all of those tropes, but in an actual safe environment where you can kind of fantasize about all those things coming true and being fulfilled without any risk of it actually happening. That's a weird sort of psychological part of this, I think. And I keep thinking to myself, that's all this is. Like, this is just women with that role play of all these stereotypes in men that they want. And here's someone who demonstrates all these roles, everything but the kindness. But if you believe you can fix a man, then you're okay with that. But then I see the woman getting his name tattooed on her, and I'm like, no, there's something else wrong here. Like, this is a whole different level of something else. Is this just the I can fix him bad boy trope? Like, is that really what this is? And if so, How does a man who brutally murders women not overcome that? Like, help me, Doug. I can't understand this. I cannot wrap my head around this at all. And I think I need some help here.
Okay, well, I am not the person to help you. Just ask my wife
All right.
because I don't really understand women. I've been married to one for a decade now, and I don't. I know a little bit more about the one. Here's my theory. Okay, you ready for my theory? And
Go
I
for it.
have gone down this psychological rabbit hole a little bit. And this would be a great reference to our surname issue later if we ever get there. W- Biologically, I think at some level women are meant to sort of join up to a man and become part of a man's umbrella, home base, purview, what have you. And I mean, modern stuff nowadays is different, admittedly, in a lot of ways, but I think at some level, women look for a man to follow. And that's why you hear stories about, you know, finding just regular women finding a man they really like, and they start saying things like, "Oh, I want to like cook for him and quit my job and do all these things for him, and I just want to like take care of him." That's why when some young women see babies for the first time and they never wanted kids, and now suddenly they have this insatiable desire to have kids. Women at some level want to do some version of nesting. There are exceptions, of course, to every rule. There are going to be a small subset of women who are a large number that don't care for these or are fine either way. But women want to be under the purview of a man in a way. And to draw out a weird reference, C.S. Lewis in, I think, Mere Christianity, in his book Mere Christianity, at one point he addresses the Bible verse where it says, "Women, be subservient to your husbands, and husbands, love your wives like Christ loved the church." He wrote this book in the 50s, by the way, 1950s, and he said there was still attacks on that verse where he said people forgot to mention the second part where husbands love your wives like Christ loved the church. And his point was,
That part usually gets left out.
right, that part usually gets left out. And he goes, hey everybody, what did Christ do for the church? He died for it. And he took on all of the sins, and he took on everything, every wrongdoing and all the blame and every evil and everything, so that we could all get to heaven. So his point was that, yes, women are supposed to follow their husbands, but husbands should be literally willing to put their life down for their wives. They have to love their wives like they are taking on everything, including the bad stuff, to absolve the family, carry all the weight of the family. And I think that in some way we're kind of ordered to do that. This guy is a little bit disordered, but you're right. He is a strong man. He's dangerous. He's tough. And it's not necessarily the I can fix him. Women don't want to fix guys. They want a guy who's devoted to them. It's about the loyalty. If he's still dangerous to other women, but not dangerous to her, that's like extra sexy, because she is the one that has the power, the control, the position, if you will, to be able to be outside of his danger. We talked one time about that it's one of the memes that's going around where it shows the one that I saw was like a knight on a battlefield reaching his hand down to like comfort a little kitten, which, of course naturally happens on battlefields.
Of course.
But
Yeah.
it said something like, you can't be a pacifist unless you're dangerous. You can't be a peaceful man unless you're dangerous. Because if you're not dangerous, then you're just harmless.
Right. Yeah, we talked about that in
Yeah, we
depth
talked
in one
about
of
that
our old
before.
episodes, yeah.
And I think that's part of it. To be a man worthy of a woman, you have to be able to be dangerous. You don't necessarily have to use it or even turn it on, but women have to detect at least a little bit of like, this guy can defend me. He will get violent for me if needed, because women are not able to do that. That's one of the things you're usually counting on with a man. That's part of having a man around. Pickle jars and protection.
Pickle jars is the big one.
Right. So I
I
think that's part of this guy, if you can win him over, there is no doubt that you will be defended.
I
And it
wonder
helps
if
if you're
there's a
just sexy.
I wonder if there's a similar phenomena for men with female serial killers. I mean, there's so many fewer female serial killers to begin with, but I wonder if there's if there's the same phenomena here for men. Like, is I don't know, something to look up, I guess. But I'm really
That would be
curious.
something to look up. I feel like it's you're dealing with some small like already a small sample size.
Yeah,
How
I'll
many?
bet you in that case it'd be more predominant on just like physical attraction. I'll bet you
You know
men are
what?
willing to like place physical attraction way above like their own
Well,
safety.
yeah, because you have the sexy mugshot stuff that filters around some,
Sexy
McDonald's.
mugshots? I've never seen these.
Okay, they're not a mugshot that's sexy. It's a sexy person who has a mugshot, Tom.
Okay. I'm like, man, what am I missing here?
Well,
Okay.
I don't know. You must have followed protocol in your police job, but you guys clearly were missing out.
I wasn't there for the mugshots. We handed them over to the
Yeah,
deputies,
right.
and the crayon eating deputies took care of all that while we went
But
back
yeah,
out and did
whenever
real work.
whenever like a attractive young woman gets convicted of a crime, a lot of times their mugshots get shared because they're attractive.
Hmm.
And I think for men it gets shared among women like this. So same kind of thing. I think you're right. I think it's just purely physical attraction, and men will do this for they're just based on attraction. It's just less about the criminal or not. I think it's just she's attractive.
Yeah, it's just our stupid penis brain overriding any logic. Okay.
Well, right, and that's again, I don't think it has anything to do with the mugshot, more or less. I think it's just, "Oh, look, attractive lady," and that's it.
I'm going to make a note to myself to follow up on this and see if there's a similar phenomenon. Now that we talk about this, I'll bet you it is. I'll bet you it's just rooted in different drives, but I'll bet you it is.
I'll bet you there is too, but I'll bet you it's a much smaller audience
Oh, it has to be because there's so many fewer female
comparatively.
serial killers.
No, well, no, but I mean, every one male serial killer has I'm just gonna use stupid examples that I don't have any backing for them, but, like, 10% of all women would be some version of attracted to this guy. Whereas flip the script, a female serial killer, like 0.5% of men or 1% of men would be attracted to her, even if she's super like, attractive. Like give her every other benefit every other benefit you would give to quote normal guys.
Hmm,
I'll bet you there's a larger subset of women more attracted to this than men.
interesting. I got to look that up. I'm curious now.
I am kind of curious too.
All right, that'll be our
I look
follow up for
forward to
next
it.
week.
Yeah.
The one point I did have highlighted in this article that I wanted to mention. So when he received his sentencing that week, he received 3,903 messages. Oh, sorry, it was over 1 month of the day, between
That's
June
almost as
12th,
many bets as the police chief made.
right? Between June 12th and July 12th. So over a 1 month period when he got convicted, he received 3,903 messages, 65 letters,
And like
750
20% of them weren't given to him because they were too crude.
right, 754 photos, and 163 photos rejected for being inappropriate in nature. That's a lot.
That's a lot.
That is a
See,
lot.
but yeah, I think that's at some level it just prove. I mean, men can be plenty illogical too, but there's got to be something illogical with these women. Here's the quote from the same article. What was in his head? He said he became the devil.
Oh, right.
He
Murder,
thinks
murder.
of kill, kill, murder, murder, murder. Those are his words. That's the quote.
Yep.
So women presumably have read this and know this and still come to him. Like there's a point where it's just stupid. Like, come on, guys. Like the devil, Lucifer himself, is not going to be like, oh yeah, just you. Yeah, I guess I won't do devil things to you.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got this whole like hell business to run, but you're right. I'll just let you like hang out on the side in the box seats.
Yeah. You just
Like,
chill. That's cool.
just watch. Yeah, right. Yeah, no, it's not how this works.
All right. I'm done talking with serial killers if you are.
Okay,
You're good.
fine.
Should we talk
We
about the
serial
assault?
killer fire trucks attacking you.
Yeah, Tom got attacked this week by a fire truck. So that's a fun story. We're driving home from was this karate and swim? Karate and then swim lessons.
I
And
so wish you knew about Jean Ralphio.
I
When
will
I
after
sent
this call. I will
I
hang up
sent
and
him
I'm
a
going to
Jean
educate myself.
Ralphio meme from Parks and Recreation, but I really wanted to be like, "That fire truck's the worst," which would make sense if you understood Jean Ralphio. But anyway,
I will
I
understand
digress.
it by this time tomorrow. So we're driving downtown, coming home from kids' swim classes, and we pull over because we hear a fire truck, screaming sirens coming around the corner. And sure enough, big old ladder truck comes whipping around the corner of downtown Westerly. And as it's coming around the corner and all the cars are pulled over, I look behind it and I see this funny white swirly thing behind this fire truck. What am I seeing here?
Sounds like an
And
ice cream truck.
right, it took me a minute to realize that this was not, in fact, vanilla soft serve. As I'm looking at this and I see it wiggling and wobbling in the wind, I realize it's the fire truck hose, and it is unsecured, and it is coming completely unspooled behind this truck. I mean, we're talking like 100 feet plus of hose behind this truck. And I
Like Bonnie
finally,
Blue Hose.
not quite Bonnie Blue level. So as I realize what it is, I'm like, oh shit, there's going to be a metal nozzle on the end of this thing. And this truck's not slowing down. It's gone already. It's past us. This is going to come whipping around. So unbuckle my youngest daughter who's in a 5-point harness. Like, kids, get down, duck, get down on the floor and duck. Because I don't want this thing coming through the windshield decapitating my kids, right? So
I learned about the little black dots on windshields the other day.
okay.
How they help with stuff like this.
Okay.
They help connect the windshield. They help dissipate heat and also like shock.
Okay.
That's what keeps a windshield from like popping through and squishing you if something big hits it.
Well, I'm grateful for that. I'm really grateful that technology is being used.
I'm just saying, like, this could have helped you.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
they're called Fritz. Thank you.
you're assuming I would have had confidence in that in the moment, and I didn't. I
Right.
found myself in like a Final Destination scene. Is this how I felt? So my kids are all like ducking their heads and getting down and not knowing why I've got them kissing the carpet. And I got my head peeking
It's
up.
still
And
smart. Yeah,
Yeah.
still smart.
I got my head peeking up and I'm watching this thing. And finally, the end of the hose comes into sight. And it is whipping and flailing around the intersection like a fucking wrecking ball. It's insane. It's got
This thing
a
could do
metal
some real
handle on it,
damage.
cuts through 2 different street signs, cuts through them and sends them like flying. And this thing is whipping around. And that's what I see. It starts bouncing off the cars that are pulled over in front of me. I see a rearview mirror go flying up in the air over my car. Stuff is just getting shattered and destroyed. People are diving, like in the park to our right. People are like diving for cover when they realize what's happening.
Like, where do you live? Like, none of this happens for me.
This is in a beautiful historic park in part of downtown historic Westerly. Like this is not supposed to happen. But what happens is the metal handle on the end of the hose, it hits a Jeep in front of me, which was like the 4th car that got whacked in front of us. And the metal handle like shears off. And I got a picture of this. I may have sent that to Doug. I may not have. I don't know.
You did not have.
I'll have to send you a picture. But there's a metal handle about the size of my foot, and it weighs about 6 pounds. And thank God it got sheared off, but it was what
That's
was doing
heavier
most
than the
of damage.
hammer.
What's that?
That's heavier than the hammer.
Yeah, heavier than the hammer that was used to kill the mannequin. And it broke off in the car in front of me and wound up on the pavement like a few feet in front of my car. I was super lucky. But this is what I think was cutting through street signs and destroying
I
street
hope
signs.
the Jeep's okay. Jeez.
Oh, the Jeep was messed up. It was a 1-week-old Jeep, and the guy was mad because it was a mess. It was destroyed.
Oh,
Well,
1 week
not
old.
destroyed,
That's
but there was damage.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
You just never understand how, man.
Yep.
Like, duh, it makes sense that it would be that big considering,
Yep. It's a
the
big old
amount of
hang
pressure and all
Yep.
the hose that it has to handle.
Yep.
Pun intended.
Intended.
Yes.
So anyway, so that shears
Wow.
off, and
It's
when
just
the
like the
hose
size
hits
of
my car,
Tom's little woman foot.
yeah, that's a size 11 foot, not quite a little woman foot.
Oh, my feet are bigger than yours.
Well, yeah, that makes sense.
That's good. I knew I had something on you. You're like a half inch taller than I am, and I'm a half inch
If it
size
helps,
bigger than you.
you're wider than me too. So I mean, you've got that one too.
That's right. 2 out of 3. Suck it.
Bad. Not bad. So the hose hits my car, and it hits the front and kind of wraps around my car, and slaps the hell out of the side of my car, and then gets pulled under my car, and literally goes under my tires and lifts my car up off the ground.
Man.
Like jumping rope. My car gets jerked up in the air. My kids are all freaking out in the back, and we land, and it rattles around under my car. Like there's still a fire hose nozzle on the end of this thing, which I
Right.
didn't think of at the time, but there's still that thing bouncing around. So it's like bouncing back and forth in the bottom of my car like a bad pong gang, pavement in my car all the way through the bottom. My tires are now out of alignment, like my wheel is all messed up, but honestly, I had the least damage to my car, at least as far as I know right now. I've got to bring it in and have the actual estimate done this weekend, but as compared to the cars in front of me, I by far had the least amount of damage. So interesting, right? Kind of a scary thing. Final Destination jokes aside, like who's ever been attacked by a fire hose truck? A friend of
Right.
mine, a friend and a coworker of mine, is like 3 or 4 miles up the road. Maybe it's not that far. Maybe it's 2.5, 3 miles. But he's way up the road, and I wind up chatting with him later, and I'm like, "Hey, here's a picture of this handle that almost destroyed my car." Like, I just got attacked by a fire truck. I know you're friends with the chief out in Watch Hill, or Dunn's Corners. Let him know that they gotta start tying off their hoses, make sure they secure them when they drive. And he sends me a message back, "Holy shit, you got hit by that?" I just helped them secure this thing up at, like, Tumalum. He's like 2 miles away. He happened to see the truck when it finally pulled over. He was just
Oh.
there, and he helped them, like, pull in the hose and secure the hose, and he was like, "Yeah, the nozzle on the end of this thing was beat to hell." I'm like, "Well, yeah, it went
Yeah.
through signs and off of walls and
I
off
can
of
tell you
houses
exactly
and
what it is.
cars."
That's funny. Th I
Small world,
how does that call to your insurance go?
you know?
"Hey, I need my tires aligned and my bumper fixed." "Oh, really? What happened?"
I can tell you how that went because it's all being
Well,
done through their insurance
well,
now, but I did
yeah,
file the claim right away because why
I
wouldn't
know.
I? I got a
But,
phone
like,
call
if
the
you're the
next
one
day.
calling,
Yeah,
you're gonna sit there and be like, "They're not gonna believe me." This is
I
ridiculous.
I did it all on the app. I didn't do anything, I didn't call it, I just
Did
did it
they
all
have
on
an
the app.
option for fire truck
They
attacks?
did not, no, so I had to
See?
describe the
Other,
damage.
other,
Yeah, I checked, like, damage to my tires, and there were a lot of others in there, and then I filled in a quick
miscellaneous.
description, but there was, like, a character limit, so it wasn't great.
252 characters.
Something dumb like that. So they called me the next day, and
Fire
this one
hose hurt
yeah.
me.
This woman's like, "Hi,
Send.
is this Mr. Gamachi?" And I'm like, "You know what? Close
Gamachi.
enough. That's you
We'll get
sure?"
it.
She goes, "Yeah, I'm calling about your incident with the fire truck and blah blah blah." And I was like, "Sure, sure. What can I do for you?" She goes, "Well, I'd like you to clarify what happened." And I said, "Sure." She goes, "Can you just tell me everything? I'm gonna record. We do the recorded line thing, and you got to give consent and give me your statement. And then I want you to just clarify the whole thing because, frankly, I'm a little confused."
Yeah.
Okay, the fact that you said that, sure. I went into
Good for
detail. I
her.
told the whole story. And when I finished, she goes, I could hear like a tension in her voice. And she goes, "Okay, if there's nothing else, I'm gonna end the recording." And I was like, "Sure, go ahead." She ends the recording
Gotta
and
get
goes,
out of here and figure out what to do.
"Yep." She ends the recording and goes, "Oh my God, we talked about this and did not believe that was what actually happened. That's what actually happened." Yeah. You've never had anything like this happen before. That you're the
How
insurance
what
company.
insurance company are you with, though? Like, are you
USAA.
with a big one?
Yeah,
Oh,
USAA.
USAA.
So big
Oh,
national,
I
international
was gonna say
now. Yeah.
because when you were now that I've heard this story, there's a part of me that's sitting there thinking like, "Okay, we're with State Farm, like, they're national, like, State Farm's Allstate, Progressive, maybe Travelers, like, some of those." It maybe, like, this is a crazy story to, like, you and me, but maybe they're like, "Oh, yeah, you're our 3rd fire
Yeah,
truck,
right?
like, this year," or something like that.
And
Like,
that's what I
there's
expected. Yeah.
like, they're still rare,
Yep.
but not unheard of. Because
No. She had a hard time believing this, and apparently the people sitting around her, like, they were sharing the story, and people were like, "No, something's not right here. That's not
no.
what really happened."
Well, and that's the thing, like, 'cause way back when I worked for Chase,
Yeah.
some of the stories you heard from the facilities people, and then also when we were taking calls about old ATMs, like when Chase bought Washington Mutual, and it took them, like, 10 years to, like, slowly go through and repurpose all these branches, and a lot of it was ripping out all these old ATMs. And you know what? Some of the stories and just, like, if you're in, like, a facilities type of role, you're like, "Oh, yeah. Like, that doesn't sound crazy." And you're like, "What?" Like, this is nuts. But when you have 5,000 branches, you hear things.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I just figured it'd be something like, "Oh, yeah, this is different, but we run into fire truck issues, whatever." Nope, apparently not.
Apparently, it was a pretty novel situation. So, man, we
That
really have a
actually makes
violent
sense
theme
though,
tonight,
because
don't we?
I know we do, but see, firefighters, g generic city employee, literally any city employee anywhere, you expect to have some loose ends. But
Yeah.
something like police, firefighter, comptrollers, and health inspections, stuff like that, like a lot of those more specifically natured jobs, you're gonna have people that are a little bit more, like, wound up and, like, have more of their ducks in a row. Like, you don't want your firefighter to, like,
Well, the problem in this case
to
is that
not
they were
know how to
not
secure
wound
a
up.
hose, like, what well, right, but that's my point, like, you don't expect your firefighter to be like, "Oh, should I tuck in my shirt?"
Right.
Like, should we secure the hose? Like, these kind of important things that you need to have all your stuff lined up for. Like, you don't expect that. So I guess it makes sense that you wouldn't have
Yeah.
maybe a case like this because you'd probably have a little bit more order in an occupation like that.
Did I tell you that I decided that was the reason that fire truck was red? Because it was driving around all day with its hose hanging out?
Hmm.
I'd be red too. No? I thought that
No,
was
you
stupid.
didn't. You didn't tell me that. That
I
was
thought that
pretty
was
good.
stupid. Alright, well, never
All
mind
right,
then.
that's fine.
I have some firefighter jokes for later. Okay.
Well, but see, the problem is, Tom, it's only about one out of every like 7 or 8 where I still can't tell if you're actually setting up a joke or not
Yeah,
for a split second.
okay. I figured you'd be
7 out
higher
of
than
8
that by
now, I
now.
get. No, I can catch it most of
Okay.
the time, but when I do catch it, sometimes I'm like, okay, Tom, why did the hose fire out of the fire truck? And I just want to set you up.
Yeah, I appreciate that when you do it.
Yeah,
You're a good work spouse.
great.
Alright,
And I'm
tell us your
whiter too, apparently, you son of a bitch.
tell
Calling
us
your
your
works calling your work spouse fat.
tell us your stupid story about the draft now. Go ahead.
So, and I agree, it's probably not a real story. I wonder if the story goes, 2 boys they go to a local ice cream shop. The ice cream shop gives you a free ice cream for your birthday every year. And so they decide to create a fictional person. They just put in a fake first and last name, put in one of their addresses. The person doesn't actually exist, but hey, now they get a free third mailing for a birthday ice cream every year so they can go like take advantage of the system essentially. And then fast forward, 5, 6 years later, and this fake person who's been getting the birthday ice creams every year now gets a letter for the draft, for the military draft. And the idea is, wow, can you believe the government is doing that and using these resources? Like even something that you thought was safe, if you will, that they do that. So that was the story. And I read it and I thought, okay, this is probably not real because there's literally no sources, literally no specific names, no links, no nothing. Oh, what'd you send me?
I sent you the Snopes report
The
for it.
Snopes report because Snopes is so reliable.
Well,
Oh, it says true.
it's got the whole
Okay,
story. Yeah.
okay, well now it's reliable because it supports my story. But the reason I brought this up was because even whether it was true or not, it was like, but it could be.
Yeah.
This is exact to me. This is exactly the kind of thing the government would do, and unless I'm mistaken, Tom, you were kind of like, no, maybe not, or
Oh, no, I 100%. I
okay,
thought this
cool.
story was made up,
That
but
was my
100%
misunderstood.
this is being done
Okay,
by the government, and
yep.
Bridget, my wife, has a really good story about this, actually.
Oh,
She,
good
um
about the draft.
she signed up for a credit card in, like, a Macy's or a Sears or a JCPenney's, like, one of those when she was in college. She was, like, 20,
Mhm.
21 years old, signed up for one of those, and they misspelled her name on the application. They put a letter in the wrong place. And for like 20 years after the fact, she would get random letters from, federal agencies, from regular trash mail, junk mail. But whenever she got one that had her name misspelled that exact way, it's the only time in her life it's ever been spelled that way in a legal document. So she can trace all the different places that her
Oh,
information was
that's
sold to.
hilarious.
Yep. Like it's very clear that Macy's or
That's
Sears or
so
whoever it
cool,
was
though.
sold it to all these people.
Like,
Yeah.
annoying but cool.
Yep, no one else could have done it, and, they said they don't sell information, this is just for blah, 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 but very obviously, it was sold out to information harvesters somewhere and used for things. So, yeah, I 100% believe they do this, but I
One
think the part of this that threw me off was when it said they got a draft notice in 1984. My understanding is the draft ended significantly before that with some guy named Nixon? I don't know if you've ever heard of him? But I feel like the
No, it
draft was
doesn't ring a
ended,
bell.
yeah, way before
Just
1984,
sounds like
so
a bunch of hot water.
yeah. Maybe the notice they got was just one of those, "Don't forget to sign up for the, your mandatory
Yeah,
draft," who knows what.
it says that it was a selective services reminder that it was almost time to register for the draft, so it
Mm,
wasn't an actual, like, draft assignment.
okay.
But the Snuffs article mentions, like, that you're required to register, and if you fail to register, that's a fine or jail time.
Yeah,
So,
and
that was kind of
that still
right.
exists, so that makes sense, I guess.
Yeah,
Alright.
yeah, that does. But so, that's that but it's funny you mentioned that. To bring the family element into this, my own father His favorite word for those mailing lists was incestuous.
Oh, Dad. This
He
word
was
does not mean what you think it means.
But you know what? At first, I thought the same thing too, and then I thought, you know what though? He's not completely wrong because it looks at known associates and families, and they make presuppositions, and that generates a lot of these other like spin-off lists too. So in a way, he's not wrong. I mean, perfect example. My parents, when they moved out of the house that I grew up in, they had a rental for about a year, and then they were building their new place and then moved in their new place. But for that year, they asked us to have all their mail because they didn't want to switch to a rental and then have to switch, to a new spot. They wanted to at least make sure that if anything was coming in that was important, it was, coming to family and not just, some rental that someone else was going to be in later and maybe disregard stuff. So they wanted to make sure they didn't miss anything, in between both moves. And since then, since they did that, we have moved 3 times, and we still get mail at our current spot, not only for them, but for my sister, who I've never done who I've never done this for, ever, not even once. How do they even know to try to mail my sister and rarely my brother-in-law, my sister's husband? How are they mailing him at our place when the only mailing connection was my parents 3 houses ago? So it is some version of incestuous because they're clearly editing and coordinating lists from
Yeah,
just presumed data, not even real data.
I guess that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I did learn that those lists are purchasable,
Yep.
and guess what? The cheaper ones are usually more wrong, but but they're out there. You can get different varying levels of accuracy depending upon what you're looking for.
Funny because I've been getting phone calls the last couple of months for people asking me about my property in Georgia that
Oh, really?
yeah, it's really interesting. But my dad has property that down there, and they call me up and they say, "Yeah, I've been looking at this property, and I want to make sure you know what you have here. I think I could get you a really good return on that if you're interested in selling." And then I'm like, "Oh, sorry, you've got the wrong guy. I don't own any property in Georgia." And I don't ever tell them, it's my dad. Go call him. I tried to leave his name out of it. But they sit
Yeah.
there and they argue with me. Like, "No, no, I can see right here that it's yours. I don't appreciate you, trying to be coy with me. I'm trying to help you." I'm like, "No, no, I don't own any property in Georgia." Like, "Look, Mr. Kamash, I can tell you right now that I'm looking at the record. I'm looking at your tax records.
No,
I
you're
can
not.
tell you right now, no, you are not."
Right.
You know? And I've had arguments because me, like, when I mess with the spam people that send us messages, and I like
Mhm.
to mess with these people sometimes. So the last couple, I've let it go out, and I've argued with them, and I've had fun with it, and it's
Just
been
waste
a
their
fun way to
time.
spend my lunch break some days.
No. Well, I've been getting those too. Like I've been getting the spam texts. "Or are you interested in selling your property and whatever?" And I'm like, "Yeah, you got the wrong number." But my favorite thing to do is you get the calls where it's like, "Hello, Mr. Shuda." It's like, "Okay, we're from the Philippines. Anyway, moving on. Would you be interested in selling your house at, your current address?" And I always just say, "Yeah, $1,000,000, and you pay all closing costs." And half of that, for the record, this is about 400 grand higher than it should be, maybe.
Yeah,
If it's a good day in the market, maybe a little bit less, but we're talking like multiple hundreds of thousands of dollars unreasonable.
yeah.
And half of them figured out, they're like, "Okay, thank you, click." And the other half go, "Oh, okay, well, have you had any improvements to it recently?"
I
And
love
then,
that they're
you
committed to
know
the bit, though.
I know. And then it's just how my mood is. If I'm in, like, a really good mood, we're going for, like, 10, 15 minutes, baby. I'm giving you all the issues and everything, and then they're sitting there going, "Wait, this can't be worth $1,000,000." I'm like, "Go for it. Send me the offer and I'll sign it. Let's do this." But usually I just hang up on them when I'm like, or I say something like, "Yeah, you don't get it. Remove me from your call list. Bye."
Had fun messing with them lately.
Ugh.
It's been a trip.
It's like the movie Horrible Bosses when they're like, "Thank you for calling OnStar. My name is Frank." And they're like, "No, it's not.
Yeah,
What's your real name?" "Ahmadinejad." "Abawati?"
Frank.
Frank.
All right, so for the record, we've been going for like an hour and 20-ish here.
No, we better
And I'm
stop.
starting to fade.
Oh
So
no.
we've got 3 topics left. I've been up since 3:30 this morning. It's every day this week. I've been up between 3 and 3:30 trying to take care of my brother's dogs and other stuff, and it's been a week. So we can talk about that later. Oh, I didn't talk about the snapping turtle either. Yeah, we got
What?
plenty
You
more
didn't
stuff.
even send me this.
Oh, I didn't send you this?
No.
Oh,
Okay, well then later.
I'll send you some snapping turtle
Oh
pictures.
my god.
Anyway, take a look at our remaining 3 topics, and I'm gonna go ahead and say just pick one, and let's talk about one more tonight. Which one really gets you tingly?
Also, I have to pee. The so that might have to happen before the last product.
Well, we could just tell dad jokes and save all these for next time too.
I think we should just do that because we've been
Okay.
going longer.
Fair. Let's
The
do that.
problem is the ones that make me tingly, it will be a long tingly.
Okay, then let's save those for
That's
next
the
time.
other problem.
The Will Smith comment is the one that I really think gets me tingly, and the
Yeah, and the
police one is
surname
pretty good.
issue is the one that gets me tingly. But
Okay.
even if something happens with the police,
Yeah.
and the guy with the stick like that, I could go
Yep.
20 more minutes
I
with
could
that
talk
too.
about that one for an hour easy.
Oh, that guy's cute. Did
Yeah.
you bothered him with like a kid's toy or something? Just like
No, I was
I
driving to
did
pick
and
my
like my
kids up.
father used to do.
I was driving to pick my kids up and go to karate, and he was on the side of the road stranded, and he was I don't know if you can tell in the picture, he was about a 35 or a 40-pound snapping turtle.
He's a big one.
He's
I mean, just
huge.
based on the grass, he's probably his shell is the size of like your shin or something. He's a pretty big
Bigger
one.
yeah, he was bigger than that actually, yep.
A
He
bit
was
bigger. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I was
Yeah, he's a
driving to
big
get my
boy.
kids, and there were 2 old ladies on the side of the road. Well, they were standing on the side of the road. One of them had their car in the middle of the road, just down the overslope of a hill. So if someone were coming over the top of that hill, they were not gonna see her car in time. And they were standing in the road poking this guy with sticks, trying to get him out of the road so he wouldn't be killed by a passerby.
Ugh.
And this is what I had to stop. I'm like, "Okay, I'm
That's
gonna
how you
save
get.
your life right now. Go move your car right now.
I was gonna say that's
Get
how you lose a toe.
a toe, that's how you lose everything because someone's gonna hit that car and run it into you and you're dead."
Well, yeah, that too. But the turtle alone is
Yeah.
a danger right now. He's
Yep,
don't
yep.
poke this
So
thing.
my thought initially was, "Alright, I'm gonna pick this guy up by the sides of his shells, and I'm gonna carry him over
Nope.
this little wall and drop him in that body of water."
Nope.
And he was just too big. I'm looking at him going, "I can't get around him. I'm gonna get snapped. This is gonna be one of those stupid white people things you read about in the news,
Well,
and I'm not
let's
trying to do."
pretend you get around him. He's weighty, and I mean the rest of his feet.
Yeah.
Those are serious claws that
Oh, yeah.
you get real damage
And
if
if
they
you
just
zoom in, look at
hit
his
you.
tail in the one where he's
Yeah.
facing sort of the
Well,
right side.
a
Like, he had
regular little like painted turtle, box turtle. Like if you don't get them exactly in the middle, they'll leave you little scratches on your hands. Now multiply that by 5 or 10. Like then no, just don't fuck with this guy. Get animal control out there.
and that's what we did. I got everybody off the road and turned our hazards on, and I called animal control. And I gave up very quickly on trying to pick this guy up. Like, this is just a mistake. He's a
Yeah,
swarming
no.
kettlebell with teeth and claws. I'm not gonna do that.
Actually, I wonder where he would land on the animal list. Like, could you win a fight against an animal? Because big with a shell, he's got to be. He's got to be pretty tough. I'd feel more confident against like the eagle than I would
Oh,
against
no, I'd
this
rather
guy.
fight this guy than an eagle because I can stomp on this guy. He's
I
got limited mobility.
yeah,
He can't
stomp
turn
on
around and
his
bite me
shell,
everywhere.
his 40-pound shell that you can't penetrate. You got to make
Oh,
sure
no,
his
you
head's out
crush the
first.
hell out of that shell if you're stomping on that shell. It's
I
not gonna
don't know,
survive a
man.
boot impact.
I
Yeah,
don't know.
yeah,
I
no.
don't
I've
know.
seen the one at the
I
Mythic
mean,
Aquarium with his
forgive me.
gamers.
I've never officially stomped on a snapping turtle, so I can't confirm. But
Listen,
I would be.
I'm gonna get you a mannequin to go
He's.
practice on, and we're gonna make sure we do the drills Mythbuster style, and we're
Do
gonna
I
do this
know it's
right.
a mannequin? Because that will change the amount of force I use.
That's fair.
Th-
No, give me the
to me,
snapping
this is
turtle over
like.
an eagle. If we're on land, give me the snapping turtle over
Well,
an eagle.
yeah, right. Okay, fair. I guess if we're on land, I don't know.
In the
I don't
water,
know.
I want no part of this guy. Yeah.
I wonder if it's because of my like exposure. Like I've dealt with more, admittedly, smaller turtles than eagles and other things too, and like so I'm aware exactly of how much even a tiny turtle can damage you. So
Yeah.
maybe that's part of it. I don't know.
Mm. All right,
Dad
dad jokes.
jokes. Yeah. Let me find the. I'm gonna get right out there to the cancelville. Let me find this joke, and then I'll tell the ones that are good for dads, bad for dads. This is alarming. This is serious, guys. Whiskey produces female hormones in men. That's right, female hormones. Montreal University scientists revealed this. Men should take a concerned look at their whiskey consumption. The theory is that whiskey contains female hormone producing agents. I can't say this right. Phytoestrogens?
Yep.
And that by drinking enough whiskey, men turn into women. To test the theory, 100 men each drank 8 cups of whiskey, each within a 1-hour period. It was then observed that 100% of the test subjects, yes, all of these men, argued over nothing, refused to apologize when obviously wrong, gained weight, talked excessively without making sense, became overly emotional, couldn't drive, failed to think rationally, and had to sit down while urinating. No further testing was considered necessary.
You sent me this and I chuckled at it, but I'm hearing it out loud now, and this episode feels real misogynistic to me.
I know, right? We talked about
Yeah.
Wade Wilson and
Yeah. I
yeah.
feel like we're kind of over we should say nice things about women in the next episode.
Well, but to be fair, we got 2 jokes about men that are also demeaning that are fun, and I got 2 little just like one-liners, and I'll have you guess, Tom. Are you
And
ready?
that's fair. I feel bad knowing that next week we're gonna talk about Jada Pinkett Smith, and I'm gonna have nothing good to say there, so it's like
No, that's bullshit. This isn't even like a men versus woman thing. That woman is the fucking devil,
she
and also Will Smith is reacting badly.
Yes,
Like
I agree in both counts.
his reaction is understandable, but it's also irrational.
I agree. Both
So,
counts. Yep,
yes.
okay.
Anyway, moving on. What do you call a man with 99% of his brain missing?
I feel like I'm supposed to continue with our misogynistic trend here and say a woman, but
Castrated.
oh, nice. That's good. Yep.
What do you give a man who has everything?
Part of me wants to say that means he's divorced. I don't know.
Penicillin.
Nice.
There. Evened it out. Okay, now the real dad jokes. Let me find this one. And I hope you didn't tell this one because it's perfectly possible you told this one, but I'm going
Okay.
to tell it anyway. And I'm going to blame it on mini strokes.
Go for it.
A pirate walked into a bar and the bartender said, "Hey, I haven't seen you in a while. What happened? You look terrible." "What do you mean?" said the pirate. "I feel fine." The bartender says, "Well, what about the wooden leg? You didn't have that before." The pirate says, "Well, we were in a battle and I got hit with a cannonball, but I'm fine now." The bartender says, "Well, okay, but what about that hook? What happened to your hand?" The pirate says, "Well, all right, we were in another battle and I boarded a ship and got into a sword fight. My hand was cut off. I got fitted with a hook. I'm fine, really." The bartender says, "Okay, fine. Well, what about the eye patch?" The pirate says, "Oh, well, one day we were at sea and a flock of birds flew over. I looked up and one of them shit in my eye." "You're kidding. You lost an eye just from bird shit?" "It was my first day with the hook."
Nice. Poor pirate.
I know, poor pirates.
Did I tell the joke about why you call a pirate a pirate? I think Desi told me this one. Why do we call pirates pirates?
I don't I don't think I've heard this one before. I legitimately don't.
Because that's what they are.
Oh my god. I feel so bad on so many levels.
I love that joke. Cracked
That's
me up when he told me that one.
that should have been that's
All right,
my
so
wife might kill me tomorrow if I retell this to her. Just to be
you should.
so you all know.
I'm gonna tell you two
It's been nice
stupid
knowing you.
jokes, and then I'm gonna tell you one that Doug is gonna like. It's gonna ring in the Doug lines, okay?
Yes. Oh, I love the Doug Loin jokes,
But I'm
which
gonna
is
make you
probably
sit through
not a
two
proper
stupid
title.
ones first.
Okay, great.
So ignore my previous joke about why fire trucks are red. Why are fire trucks red? You're not gonna get this one, so I'm just gonna jump into it for you.
No, I'm not gonna get it.
No, you won't get this one.
Okay, fine. Why? Why are fire trucks red, Tom?
Because they have 8 wheels and 4 people, and 8 plus 4 is 12. 12 inches is a foot, and a foot is a ruler. Queen Elizabeth is also a ruler, but Queen Elizabeth is also a ship, and ships sail the seas, and seas have fish, and fish have fins, and the Finns fought the Russians. The Russians are red, and fire trucks are always rushing around.
You know, if I was given a million years,
Never.
I might have gotten
No,
there.
I don't think so.
No, I never got.
But I did like that one when I saw it. I was like, yeah, we're going to keep that one. Yeah.
What?
I don't know why I liked it, but I did. What does a fire truck and a blue whale have in common?
fire truck and a blue whale have in common? It might only take me 100,000 years to get to this one. Hmm, I don't know.
Well, they're both red, except for the blue whale.
Oh my god.
All right, and here's the one that
Oh.
Doug will like. This is gonna tickle you in the Doug places, I think. It's gonna test my sense of what Doug actually likes in a joke.
Okay.
What do you call two Mexicans in the back of a fire truck?
I don't know, Hispanicking.
Jose and Hose B.
Oh my gosh, yes. I do like that.
See, I know my
I
Doug
do.
jokes.
You do know your Doug jokes. Yeah, it's gonna grow on me too.
Yep. You're gonna start laughing as you lay down in bed tonight
It's
at some
right.
point.
It's not that it's
And
not
the wife
super
is gonna
good right
ask you
now, and
why.
then like in a couple of days, people are gonna question my humor because I'm gonna want to tell them that joke.
Yep. Not just misogynistic, but now we're also a little bit racist, you know?
Perfect. Apple announced today that it has developed. This is apparently I just brought a bunch of sexist jokes, by the way. Um,
Okay.
Apple announced today that it has developed a breast implant that can store and play music. The iTit will cost from $4.99 to $6.99, depending upon the cup size, speaker size, and storage capacity. This is considered a major social breakthrough because women are always complaining about men staring at their breasts and not listening to them.
All right, I think we're done here. Thank you to the couple of women who are listening to us up until this episode. We
I was gonna
appreciate you.
say, but I have a couple. I have a couple more good ones.
Go ahead, get through the good ones.
Let's do a good European one. I've just started a new business selling trampolines in Prague. I'm getting a lot of orders, but the checks keep bouncing. You're welcome.
Solid.
I saw a book yesterday that said how to solve 50% of all your problems. So I bought two.
That's good.
There was a safety meeting at work today. They asked me, what steps would you take in the event of a fire? Big ones was apparently the wrong answer. And Tom, one more that you have to try to guess.
All right.
What happens when you run out of manure on a farm?
I don't know what happens when you run out of manure on a farm.
You have to make do.
Yes.
Now I'm done.
See, now I feel bad that I made you tell all the misogynistic jokes, and I feel like I should tell one to spare you so that the hatred is equally dispersed.
It's okay. You're the ultra conservative, so you're going to get plenty of hate. I still don't understand that. I still think about it every so often. I'm literally not kidding you. Like every 3.5 weeks, I sit there and I go, who the fuck would think Tom is the conservative
Yeah. I still
between
I
the
still
two of
like to
us?
think they got the voices wrong,
Don't get
but
it.
she made it very clear that she didn't. So,
I don't get it. Yeah.
did I tell you about the time I was in a gym and I asked the personal trainer like which of the machines I should actually use to get the best looking women in the gym?
No.
I literally asked him like which machine should I be putting my time into and which machine should I be using to get the good looking women? And he said the ATM machine outside. All right, that's the only one I've got on the top of the head. So
All right. Good.
I don't want to go
Yeah,
into
it's a
telling
mouth
blonde
machine.
jokes. So
Yeah.
I'm going to call it quits.
No dad
Dad
homework
homework.
tonight. Do we have dad homework?
I've got dad homework.
Okay, great.
If there was ever a female criminal, not even a serial killer, but a female criminal to whom you wanted to write a love letter and commit yourself to, I want to know.
And can we add the qualifier that it's not just because she was attractive, it's because she had a great personality, as evidenced by the crime that she did?
Nope. I want to know.
Or
I don't care why you were
just in
attracted. I
general?
want you to tell me why. But if ever there was a felonious woman that you were attracted to enough that you wanted to write her a love letter or pledge yourself to her while she was in prison for any reason, I want the details.
Okay,
Get it to us on
I'll
Reddit.
allow it. Even if it's just like she was hot. Like
Yep,
fine.
even if it's
Okay.
that.
Like
That's
that's you're right. That's part of the study.
Yep.
They can at least be your control group or something for whatever you're looking for.
So
okay.
email us at 2dtpod
Yes.
at gmail.com. Find us on Reddit with the Two Dads Talking Pod, social media, wherever you want to send me that. I want to know if you're in that group. I need to know if this is a thing in the other direction.
You're into that sort of thing.
I just need to know now. Like now I'm going to wind up doing a deep Google while I'm laying in bed tonight and Bridget's gonna roll over and be like, "What the hell are you looking at?"
It's better
And I'm
than
gonna blame
Blue.
Doug. So thank you guys for listening. We appreciate you. Go Dad, go.
Good echo. Stop the recording, Tom.
I'm trying. I can't find the button to turn it off.